folks. Today, on my episode of Sailing Dinghies, I was going to talk about my grandpa's and my dad's tools, because I was talking about that last episode and I kind of passed over it that I was using one of my dad's tools, and so I decided I'd show you what I have left from my dad's and my grandpa's tools. And here we go. Okay, here's some of the tools, and I'm going to go through this slowly, and we'll just start with the grinder. The sharpening stones. I have these are old. I'm talking over 70, 80 years old. This is one of my grandpa's sharpening stones there. And I'm just going to move these out of the way. This is my dad's. He got it this is a newer one that my dad got, and I got that. And those are some of those. Here's a little roofing axe from my grandpa. And my grandpa started out in Montana, Butte, Montana, and he had a before the Depression had a what you call it, a lumberyard and contractors business. He built houses and stuff like that. And when the Depression hit, everybody defaulted on him, and he like everybody else had to do something else because he lost his business, lost everything. So he moved out to California and started another construction company in North Hollywood, and started building houses for the rich and famous, like Golden Metro Mayor and Hans Conried and Floyd the Barber on Andy Griffith Show, and people like that. And he was well liked. He was very slow and deliberate in his building, but people hired him over there, and my dad helped when he was old enough. But that's one of the roofing axes that he used. And this is my dad's old pipe cutter, and here's a pipe wrench, 14-inch forged steel. One of his old chisels. Boy, that's in bad shape. And here's another one. Stanley. Yeah. My dad liked to paint his tools so nobody would, that's what they used to do. They would paint their tools and he was with the utility department of General Telephone, which is now not AT&T, but the Verizon. It turned into Verizon, but it was gone through Sylvania and all that, and finally ended up still but it was first called General Telephone, and he worked for them as utility department doing carpentry, electrical, plumbing, whatever. And these are some tin snips that he had. There's a Weiss. Here's a saw. The fold-out saw for trees. That's an interesting old thing. Here is one of my grandfather's oldest tools I have. It's a molding plane, and it's pretty old. I don't even know if it it works very good or not, but it's got everything in there. Gosh, I don't know how I use these. That's a little a V molding plane, and used to use that to finish off moldings. Here is a snipper, old snipper, man. Look at that. It's something else. Yeah, look at that. Here's some fairly newer, my dad's files. Boy, look at this thing. You know, it's too sad a shape for anything, but look at that. That's another one. I imagine I can sharpen these up. I can actually sharpen these up and put new heads on. I mean, new handles on the ones that don't have handles. But that's original condition right there. Here's a wrench from a set that I don't know. He had. That's a long time. Here's some saws. You know, Japanese style. Kind of miter saws a little bit. As I was saying, these saws, he used a lot. You know, he did finishing carpeting. He did all kinds of things, and my dad helped him. And during the war, before the war, my dad built Quonset huts for Fort Ord, and and then he got drafted. He went in as an MP sergeant, and so he was building Quonset huts for the army before that, though. Anyway, here's the old wrench that he had that I still kept. Here's some rat tail file, old son of a gun. Here's a fairly new one, in the 60s, in a plastic handle, and it's a fairly new one. And that's gun over here. He used to, he didn't like these things sharp, so he'd make these little things like this wood block, and he'd put wood over it to protect himself, protect your, and just put that wood block over. I still have the wood block that goes over that. Anyway, that's pretty cool. And here's an old Bailey that I kept. I did get rid of some of his tools, but because I couldn't keep them all. He had so many of them, but I kept this. I maybe wanted to repair it. Thought that would be nice. But here's stand. No, this is. You know what? This one is not even supposed to be in here. This is not even one. This is one that I had. So anyway, that's one of mine. And here's a Crescent tool from Crescent Tool Company, Jamestown, New York. Here's a old screen door screen repair tool. Here's some old clamps. Get these old. Here's an Unbreakable. It says "Made in USA." Here's an old bit brace, and he used to use these a lot. He had. This one's kind of beat up. These don't even fit these have been modified. A lot of these. Here's one that had to have a blade on it, but the blade is missing. But here's another. Most of those are modified, but I have something else to show you when I get to it. But I don't have it right up here right now. There's some old pliers, and they got all kinds of different shapes. Now they're mostly the same kind of tools, but these are a little odd. And my dad used to put these. He'd get insulation from telephone cable and put it around his tools. That before they had the rubber coated ones, and so that's how he did. Mostly all the tools were metal like that, and he'd put the plastic around it and wrap it in insulation. That's wrapped from my dad. That's actually probably 50-year-old tape. Anyway, and here's some. He cut glass also. Here's a little glass cutter. You still have wood handle on it. Here's another one, metal one. He used to do glass work. Here's an old, boy, that one's broken right there on the tip, but we can probably still fix that. Here's an angle, a little angle finder for wood. Used that in the boat building, in fact, but I have a newer one. Old vice grip. He painted that vice. He painted it yellow one time, so nobody would take it. Yeah, but yeah, that's a vice grip there. Wow, got lots of tools. Yankee screwdriver. Yeah, there's it's got an interesting bit on there. It's got a protected shield on the tip, and I think I'm not sure how they put that in there. I think it protected it, stopped it from going in there. Oh, I don't know. Whatever. I don't remember. Here's a fairly new hammer that he bought early on. But it must have been in the 80s. He bought a new one. That's interesting. He had enough tools. Here's another one. Here's another Yankee. Doesn't work so hot. The spring is gone. Yeah, it's pretty good. I can still use it. And here's a lot of the bits for the Yankee screwdrivers. It's even got a little that's not even one. That's something else, because it doesn't have the angle on it. You see, you have to have those little angles like that on there to be able to work in the Yankees. I'm going to have to wait until next week for the next episode. See you next time, folks. Episode 7. I think this is episode 6. This is episode 6. See you next time. Catch you later.